Hey guys, my name is Raddy, and recently I uploaded a video of my wishlist for Animal Crossing Switch, and let's just say it went down way better than I could have ever expected. As of recording, it has 13,000 views and over 550 likes. First off, I'd just like to say thanks for all the nice comments you've been leaving and all the awesome ideas you've came up with. I had such a blast making that video, and a lot of people seem to enjoy it, and for that reason I decided to make a part 2, as I still have way more ideas. That being said, let's get right into it. First off, I'm starting this list with the return of Mr. Resetti. He never left the series, so to say, but in New Leaf he sure wasn't as included as he was in the previous games. This might sound kinda weird, but I miss getting lectured by him every time I didn't save the game. He's just a character I like to dislike, but when he was gone, I wanted him back. I can understand why Nintendo took out his role of telling the player off and having a huge rant, as apparently it scared young children, but personally I think it would be awesome to have him back as the annoying mole he once was. Before I get into this one, I'd just like to make a quick disclaimer that the footage I'm using is from TheBitBlock's video. It's a perfect representation of what I'd like to see, so make sure to check out his video because it's absolutely amazing. I'd really like to see a better camera. What I mean by this is instead of having one fixed view while running outside and enjoying yourself, you could use the D-pad or something to change the angle you view yourself from, or even zooming in or out. This feature is debatably the biggest that I would like to see in this video, and I'll tell you for why. I think cooking and baking could be added to Animal Crossing, and it would be awesome if it was done right. The way I would like to see it done would kind of be similar to the way you cook in Breath of the Wild. If you're unfamiliar with this, let me explain it to you, but with an Animal Crossing outlook. The way it would work is you gather up 5 ingredients to cook with, and then you'd go to an oven or a microwave and add the ingredients. After a few seconds, you'd be greeted with a delicious meal. I could also see this being done with some mini-game, but to keep it simple, let's just stick to my first idea for now. You're probably wondering where you'd get these ingredients from, and the answer is simple. You can use fruit grown from trees, turnips you've planted, and finally, a new shop in the city or main street would be dedicating all to cooking. It would sell different ingredients and fruit every day, from apples to sugar, or pasta to bananas. You could also buy a recipe book from the shop, so when you discover a new meal or recipe, by experimenting with ingredients, it would be filled in, so you never forget how to make it. One last thing about the shop is that it would be run by Franklin the Turkey. If you don't know who he is, he's a special event character who shows up every Thanksgiving. Speaking of Thanksgiving, you can make special seasonal foods such as festive cookies for Christmas or pumpkin pie for Halloween. My final thing to add to this is that everything that can be cooked would be vegetarian, as honestly, it would just be a bit weird to cook any kind of meat in a town full of animals. This next idea was actually suggested to me in the comment section of my last video, and I have to say I completely agree. More hairstyles and faces. As far as I'm aware, we had the same faces to choose for our character for over 10 years, so I think it would be a good time to freshen it up a little and add some difference to each character. The same applies to hairstyles. It's been a long time since we've had a new hairstyle or hair colour, so I just think it would be neat to add some new ones. Next up is one of my most wanted additions to an Animal Crossing game probably ever. That's right, it's proper paths. Every game I've always had a path that winds around my town, but they're a real pain to create. They take up all of your pattern space and take absolutely ages to create and place. Even when they're done, they're easy to ruin by picking them up, and most of them aren't even convincing. So I'm hoping they will fix this on the Switch and just add actual paths. I'm not actually sure how they'll be accessed, whether it's a whole new menu like your designs, or whether it's a public work project, but no matter what, it will be an improvement. At number 5 is quests. Not exactly like The Legend of Zelda, where you have to go and save the whole of Hyrule, but just small tasks you can complete to help out your villagers. To get a quest, you can ask your villagers if they need any help, or go to your message board and see if anyone has put up a request for help. If you complete a quest, you can earn items or bells. Another idea I had is that very early on, Isabelle will give you a quest log, which can be found as a little icon in your pockets. Inside, it tells you all your ongoing quests and the reward you get for completing it, so it'll be handy to keep track of what you have to do. This is probably the most simple idea on the list, but it would definitely make the game so much better. I'd like the villagers to have much more dialogue. In New Leaf, I'll be playing for a couple of hours and speak to my villagers every so often, and after 4 or 5 times of interacting with them, they will completely repeat themselves. So I hope there is a lot more dialogue in the next game, so the world feels more alive and like you are actually speaking to each villager. Next up is another returning feature, and that is the ability to shop at night. In the very first Animal Crossing, if Tom Nook's was closed and you hit his front door with your shovel, you'd wake him up and you'd be served by a very sleepy Tom Nook. It would be awesome for this to return, so if you're playing at night, you can still sell your items and fish so you can make money like you would in the day. One thing that would be a downside, but a nice little detail, is that everything you sell would go for 10% less for the inconvenience of waking him up. Coming in at number 2 is an all new species of villager. My top pick for this would be a bat. They would typically be more active at night and sometimes sleep during the day. I think they'd be cute and an awesome addition to the game. Another idea for a villager is otters, who can be found hanging around at the beach or a river. Finally, I'd like to see a new way to fish. To be specific, what I mean by that is going boating with Cap'n. Assuming the island and dock is in the next game, when asking to go to the island, you can also request a fishing detour for about an extra 1,000 bells or so. This would be a 10 or so minute activity of being out at sea on the boat, able to fish for rarer creatures than you'd find on the shores of your town or the island. At any point while fishing out at sea, you can ask Cap'n to leave and carry on over to the island with all the fish you've caught without having to fish the whole 10 minutes. That's it from me. One last time I'd like to thank everyone for the support I've been getting. It means a ton to me. If you like this video, be sure to let me know, and if you want to see anything else, recommend it down in the comments. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you all in the next video.